The homebrew Starbucks chai is not the same. Okay. All right.
You could have walked into the rain and bought yourself.
I could have. But Chan, you are more important to me than chai. All right. Okay, here we go.
Hello, and welcome to the Homestay Kitchen with me, Mary Chan, and Erin Eastman. This is a podcast where we serve up stories of being a homestay family, the ups and downs of making a connection with international homestay students. We'll bring a plate full of stories, ideas, interviews, and hopefully dish up some anecdotes to share with our community. In this episode, we share our experiences of how we select international students to become a part of our homestay families. We chat about how one student in my short-term homestay experience got me to change my number one request when I get a student profile. We walk through what you should consider when matching a student profile to your family, and ultimately, how we decide to host a student in our homes. Then we explore Erin's detailed student profile applications that she gets, and then she goes on one of her tangents to provide some very insightful tips for what to do with your kids when traveling with your students. But first, a little update on our homestay lives. Hello, Erin.
Hi, Mary. That was a lovely lilt.
Don't know why I did that. Let's change it up. It likes to be the same all the time.
That was cute. It made me smile.
This reminds me actually of our old coworker, Jamesters.
Yes.
Whenever he would burst into my studio.
And that was a burst.
Yeah. He would always say hello to me in a different way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was his thing.
I kind of wish that there was a camera there and we could capture all the different ways and just edit them together.
That would have been fun.
That would be really funny.
But anyway, so yeah.
Hi, Mary. Yeah. Hi. And lovely sing-song voice, which reminds me that I wanted to tell you that I'm a very proud host mother because my student.
Wow, you've got the Wonder Woman, strong woman pose happening.
I know. I'm so proud of them. They entered the talent show at their high school and auditioned, and they are on to the next level.
Ooh, they're moving on.
And my two students, along with one of my mother is hosting, I don't know if I told you that, one of her students, we're going, my mother and I, to the talent show to watch them, and it'll be kind of worry for my students a bit, because my mother was a cheerleader in high school. And I also come by it honestly from my mother, but when I go to any event, I cheer just as hard and just as loud as my mother.
Oh dear.
Those poor girls don't know what's coming.
I can see it already. You're like the crazy woman in the crowd, right?
I am, and proudly, and I do cheer for everybody, but I cheer harder for my kids. Cross-country events, my son, I'm out there cheering for our entire school, and then when it's my kid, I go wild.
Can you do me a favor though?
Mm-hmm.
Just be nice and quiet though while the performance is happening.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm so respectful.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good. But once it's done,
wonderful audience
once
member.
It's done, you can start jumping up and down and clapping
and it's
screaming.
Also the high school that I went to. So, I can go, and I still have my spirit wear. We were the first year for that high school.
You're not going to wear that, are you?
Probably not, because they're very elastic on the pants.
Oh.
Very
well, you might have time to fix the elastic before.
We could, because I can just picture myself standing up and the pants falling down.
Those sweatpants, are they the ones with the stuff written on the bum?
On the butt, yeah.
What does it say on the bum?
Rams.
Oh, that's so inappropriate.
I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Though that would be quite fun and embarrassing for them.
Super embarrassing, which I do believe we owe it. They're teenagers, easily embarrassed. And my mother embarrassed me so much when I was a teenager. Don't you think you have
pass
the
it on.
responsibility to pass it on?
Yes.
So
all right. Well, maybe if you fix those elastics on those
maybe.
pants in time.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's my little update.
Well, for me, I still don't have a student, and we
Okay.
still don't really plan on having one.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons is right now I have a bout of eczema,
Okay.
and it's driving me nuts.
I can see your fingers are twitching because maybe you
I want to scratch my arms. Eczema is very diet-based. Whatever I eat can exasperate it.
Okay.
So I've been eating a lot of plain food, and it's not as exciting.
No, and I can see that being really for a
Yeah.
student. Okay, understood.
Yeah. So I don't want to put a student through that torture. Well,
That's
but
kind.
like the rest of the family, they eat the good stuff.
Well, could
I
you,
just-
you make more
I
good
know,
stuff?
but then it's the last student we had was in the summertime, and that's when the eczema started, and it's
Oh.
just been ongoing since.
I don't think the student gave you eczema.
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm saying that. Well, I had a stressful moment, and then it
Oh,
it
okay.
exasperated it. But then we had a student scheduled to come, and I would always just make this two separate things, and I would say, oh yeah, you guys eat this stuff, this is tasty, this is just some steamed chicken with salt on it, there's nothing else on it. It's just for me. You're welcome to try it if you like, but I'd recommend you eat the good stuff over there.
Oh no! You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you're not
I just don't
treated
want to
as
do
well.
it. Yeah.
You don't want to put out there that we just don't treat me as well as everybody else.
I'm a second-class citizen.
I'm the
over here.
second-class person, and that's just how we treat me in this family.
Yeah. Well, I
Okay.
explained to her that it was like itchy, and what I
Yes.
eat makes it itchy, and I
Good.
think she
There's
got
some
it.
education around
Yeah,
your
she
condition.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I
She
hope we do.
understood. We don't want to have a student because of making the two separate dishes. It's just a lot of extra work when you have another person in the house.
Okay.
However,
You're changing your mind?
the eczema's getting better.
Oh, good.
So I just feel like
I can see that you've restrained yourself. You've been talking about it. You have not yet itched.
I know, every
And
time
I'm
I
itching
think
my
about
nose,
it-
so I'm thinking about it.
every time I think about it or talk about it, I start like wanting
I
to
know.
like rip my arms apart. But It's
They're
gotten much
firmly
better.
attached. Oh, good.
yeah, we're thinking about it in the new year or sometime in the new year.
Okay.
But also my sister, she also hosts. I don't know if
No,
we
we've
ever
not talked
mentioned
about
that.
that. So my mom hosts and your sister hosts.
Yeah. And so she actually has a student she's been hosting for a while now, quite a few months. And it's going to go on into the new year. But they, as their little family of 3, usually go on a vacation or somewhere. They have asked if I could host their student for the week when they're away in February.
That's good because you've interacted with our student.
Yes,
You're more
I've met her.
comfortable.
Yeah, we've had dinner and meals and hung out with her a few
Mhm.
times. So yeah, we may do that. I was talking to John about it last night, and he's not very definitive on his answer yet. I think usually it's just make up your mind. Like he'd probably just tell me, just make up your mind, tell me yes or no, and then.
So you make the decisions
So
on,
I think so.
on students in your family.
Yes, usually.
Yeah.
And what happens is like because the coordinators usually contact me
Mm-hmm.
initially, and then I get the profile of this is a student that we have coming.
Right.
Do you have space in your home during this allotted time? Is usually how it works. We just get the one student, the one profile. And then I look at it and I compare it to our schedule. And then I talk to John. I say, this is our student.
Mhm.
This is what we usually get is a name, their age, usually what part of the country they're from. Sometimes it just says the country.
Right.
Hopefully their interests and if they're allergic to any food preferences. And that's usually about it. And then we decide from there.
Okay.
So when we had our first student, we were a little concerned. I don't know if concerned was the right word. We were just worried because we've never done this before.
Right.
What can we expect? The profile doesn't really say much. So do I really know enough about this student? Like, how do I ease my fear of the stranger coming into my house?
Mm-hmm.
But we just dove in headfirst. Usually I just go with what their interests are, if it lines up with our interests,
Yes.
and if the dates work for our own schedule.
Okay.
That's usually how I
Make it.
make it happen, funnel
Yeah.
it down. So with my sister's student, it's just the week. So I'll probably say yes.
Yeah, and you've talked to her and know a bit about her and can talk to your sister. You can get the lowdown.
Exactly. Yeah, so, we've been told that her English is pretty minimal.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to one of the language schools and she doesn't say too much. She's pretty shy. She keeps to herself. So
is good with kids because I know your sister also has a young child
and is
in the
good
home.
with kids, right? And that's one of our main criteria now.
Yeah.
Before it didn't matter. We didn't have a kid. But now, as long as you like kids, you're welcome in our home.
Right. Right. And has there been an incident before where...
Yes. It was an interesting situation. And again, a learning moment in our homestay career, homestay lives. Experience, yes, in our homestay experience. So we had the student, and we didn't actually get a profile of her.
Oh, that's odd.
We had hosted with a new language school.
Okay.
Because our favorite language school got sold, and then it got closed down.
That's who we got our first students.
Yes, that was our favorite place.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been sort of looking around at different language schools, and so we signed up with this one. So they said that, yes, we have this student. She is coming for the 2 months, I believe. Yes, for 2 months. And she's from Japan.
That's not much to go on.
No.
I'd like a lot more.
I think I got an age or an age range.
Wow.
I can't remember.
Very little.
Very little. But again, I just went with, well, the dates work with us, and we've had very good success with Japanese students, female Japanese students too. So, why not?
Learning moment. Yeah, okay.
Well, at that time, I was like, no, it's fine.
Wow.
It's fine.
Okay.
Everything seemed fine. She was pleasant. Her English at that time seemed very minimal, which was
normal,
the usual, normal,
yeah.
Right? Didn't seem out of the ordinary at all in the first couple of weeks. I would ask her about her interests because I didn't get any on the profile. So I wanted to know what she was interested in. And she would say things to do with like music or flowers and things like that. Like in our city here in Victoria, we are the garden city. That's like our little...
Butchart Gardens.
Yeah. So we have gardens is our thing.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, the school has these activities that they do sometimes after school or on the weekend. And when I looked at that particular month that she was here, I said, there's a Butchart Gardens activity. So you can go check out the gardens and the flowers. And then there was this musical thing. You love jazz. It was a jazz night. You should go do these things. They're right up your alley. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah. When it got time, like the week leading up to it, I asked her, did you sign up for the activity to go to Butchart Gardens? And she's like, no. I was like, did you want to go? Maybe. Like, okay. So then I emailed the coordinator just to make sure that she would be able to sign up, because what if she didn't know that the sign up process? So I just emailed the coordinator and said, she told me she's interested in gardens and flowers and blah, blah, blah. Just make sure that she knows how to sign up and that she's allowed to go, that she can go. It might be a great opportunity for her. And the coordinator wrote back. Coordinator and I were doing great. We communicated really well. And again, a couple days leading up to the event now. Hey, did you sign up yet? No. Oh, why not? I thought you wanted to go see the flowers. This is one of the main attractions in our city. No, I don't like outside.
Oh.
And I thought that was a little strange. I thought maybe it was lost in translation or something, but she literally was like, no, she does not like being outside.
Okay, that's hard to see the flowers if you're...
Yeah.
Not going outside.
So maybe she just likes indoor, cut flowers or something. Yeah. So I said, okay, well, don't forget, though, there is the jazz event next week. You could sign up for that. And she's like, oh, yes, okay. Again, leading up to the event, did you sign up for the jazz event yet? That's the activity from the school. No. Why not? Because outside. But it's an indoor event. So I don't know. I didn't get it.
She's saying yes, okay, because she just wants the conversation to stop and she doesn't want to appear rude.
Probably. Yeah. But it was just kind of weird because she's saying she's interested in all these things and you're here to, yes, study English, but it is when you're with a language school, a lot of the studying has to do with not studying. It's a bit of a vacation. When you're here for short term, it's a vacation opportunity to also use English and learn English. So you're here on a vacation, but you don't want to see any of the attractions.
It seems odd to us.
It seemed very odd. And as the weeks progressed, she just got more secluded and she would stay in her room all the time. She would come home from school and go straight up to her room. I don't even get like a little conversation with her. We see her only at the dinner table. She's done her dinner. She goes straight back up to her room. And so I thought, oh, maybe she's getting a little homesick. She's, you know, there is all of that.
You're worrying about that.
I'm worried that she's homesick and sad and not having a good time here. So I try and have a little conversation with her about her family. She misses her family and all this stuff. And she did say she was a little homesick. So fair enough. But as we talked more about families in general, she told me that she just does not like children.
Oh, Mary.
And I have at that time, a 2-year-old.
Oh, my goodness.
And my little 2-year-old is so outgoing. She is constantly getting anybody she meets to play with her. And the other students that we've had, whenever our daughter would ask, oh, do you want to play with me? They would always play. So she assumes that all students would want to play with her. And so she's, you know, asking, oh, play with me, play with me. And the student literally is physically ignoring her, turning her back away from my daughter.
And how old is this student? I don't know if we've...
early 20s?
Right.
Maybe.
So a younger person that your daughter... Yes.
So I had asked our student, you know, I know that Kira, my daughter, is really, really high strung and she loves to play. And if it's too much for you, you could just tell her no, no, thank you, stop. She knows to stop if you ask her to stop, please.
Like she'll respect boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, I understand that sometimes you might not want to play with her because even for me, sometimes Kira is too much. So, or let me know and I will get Kira to stop. Just please say something because I want to make sure that you're happy and that you are okay. You know, this goes on for a couple days. And again, she still does the physical turn away from Kira.
Rude.
Which is rude. And Kira even says to me, like, I don't understand. Why don't she play with me?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just hard to explain to a 2-year-old why this person is ignoring you.
Why they're physically not looking at you.
Yeah, not even, no eye contact.
Yeah. In our culture. Yeah.
So then, the more I talk to my student, that's when she just said, I just don't like children.
Oh, no. This is the wrong house if you don't like kids.
This is totally the wrong house. And that's what I said to her. So, and at this point in time, I guess she'd been in our house for about a month or so. And she's come more out of her shell that she can speak English. She's more comfortable speaking English. In the beginning, she just wouldn't say much, but now she's saying a lot more. So we're having some good conversations. And that's when she tells me that she doesn't like children. And I say, that is 100% fine. Because growing up, I didn't like kids either. And it is okay to not like children. But I'm just upset for you that you are not having a good experience. You were here on vacation. You were here to learn English. You were here to have fun. And if you don't like children, then you should try and find a different homestay. I'm not going to be upset by that. I want to make sure that you are having a good time. I thought she was only in the city for 2 months. But it had turned out she was in the city for 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
But she was only placed in our house for 2 months, and then she was transferring to another house for 4 months.
Oh, goodness.
And then going to Ottawa for another 6 months. So she's actually in Canada for a whole year.
Wow.
And so when I found this out, I said to her, oh, no, when she told me that she was going to go meet her potential new homestay family, I had a good sit down with her.
Good for you. Yes.
Because I wanted to make sure she was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound like she had much say in picking her homestay with me originally.
Shouldn't she have a say? Like, shouldn't stuff get communicated as much as possible so she can have the best possible experience?
One would think.
So that the person that she's being placed with, like, you would hopefully get more information about this student.
Yeah.
So the process could be better.
When I asked the coordinator about that, she said that on her application form, the only request that she made was to live in a clean house.
Well, I would think that should be on every application form. Like, if I got an application form like that, like, send it back. Please fill out more information. I'm sorry. But
I know they work with agencies too. So like,
yes. Okay. There's multi steps.
Yeah. There's like a middleman.
Please fill out more.
Yeah. We need
Tell
more
us
information.
more about you so that we can make this better. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was going to meet her potential new homestay family. And my little sit down with her was, okay.
Thank you, Mary.
When you go and meet them, what kind of questions are you going to ask? What would you like to know? And she just stared at me like, I can ask questions?
Yes, you can ask questions. You should ask questions.
Yeah, so
I love you for this.
Again, I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if she was just really shy or what. But I said, okay, so we know that you do not like children. Do you know if they have children in this house? I know you said you like dogs. Do they have pets? Where is the house? Do you know how to take the bus from their house to the school? Do you get your own room? Mm-hmm. Which everybody should.
You should, yeah.
But there are sometimes placements where you can double up.
Right.
So like, do you prefer your own room?
Yeah.
What do they like to eat?
Right.
Was another big one. For me, at least, because we love to cook, right?
Yeah.
And she said she really enjoyed our food.
Right.
So I said, well, I'm just speaking from experience of some of our past coworkers' stories. And actually, some of my past students have told me other homestay families.
Right. Other experiences.
That they had. Mm-hmm. Lunch would just be a sandwich. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with that if that is part of the house?
Yeah.
You should ask them what you have for lunch every day. Do you make your own lunch? We also had this experience with her where normally what we would do for lunch is we make a big dinner so that part of the dinner is lunch the next day. Mm-hmm. It's simple for our family, and that's what we do. And she was totally okay with that. All our students have been okay with that. But this one night we went out during the weekday. Some friends of mine had come to town. So then we had gone to the grocery store and bought ingredients to make a sandwich. And she didn't know how to make a sandwich.
Right.
So I taught her, this is the bread. Let's put some mayo. Do you like mayo? And all this stuff. And so I said, would you be okay if you had to make your own sandwich every day to go to school? So just ask them questions. What do they like to do on the weekend? Because I know you like to stay in your room and you do not like to go outside. So are they people that are going out all the time and will ask you to come along? Mm-hmm. Or will they just let you be and you can stay in your room? So it's important to find out about this family and if it fits with what you like to do. Mm-hmm. Sure, I think her mind was blown. Like her eyeballs were like, what?
Yeah.
She came home after going to meet these people and she said that, yes, she would have to make her own sandwich every day for lunch. I said, okay. But are you okay with that? And she said, yes. I'm like, okay. So you are happy to make your own sandwich every day? She said, yes. I'm like, okay, good. Because sometimes students will just say yes to say yes.
Yes,
right?
End the conversation or move on. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then she said that she has her own room. I'm like, oh, lovely. What does your room look like? What is in your room? And she said, my own TV.
They're never going to get her out.
That's what I said. I actually said that to her. I said, you are going to love this place because all you're going to do, it has Netflix on it.
Oh, yeah. They're
so I said,
never getting her out.
All you're ever going to do is stay in your room and watch Netflix. And she said, yes.
Oh my gosh.
They also had a dog.
Oh, good.
So that's good for
Yeah.
her. And they had a teenage boy in the house.
Oh, she's going to hide in her room and watch Netflix.
So then I just wanted to make sure, are you okay with a teenage boy, like a male
Do they
in
share
the
a bathroom?
house? I didn't ask.
She's
I didn't
going to
ask
hide
that
in
part.
her room. Yeah.
But yeah, she seemed really happy that she could just hide in her room all day. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, okay, as long
That's where
as you
she'll
are
be.
happy, that is a better homestay for you than my house.
Does he put the seat down? Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't keep in touch with her
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I think she was just
Happy to move on.
happy to move on. And so I don't know how she fared.
No,
by the
but
end of
I
it.
think probably by the end of it, you were with the, the children thing.
Yeah. I think everybody was happy in the
Yeah.
end.
Well,
Because
that's good.
John,
And-
too, was
Yeah.
upset that she was treating Kira this way.
Yeah.
Like
it's
for
hard to
lessons
see.
for our daughter.
Yeah, hard to see.
It was hard. So I think everybody was happy in the
Yeah.
end. And lessons learned, even if I get a profile like
Yeah.
this, email back and ask for more.
Yeah.
And they know now. I
Yeah.
said for them for sure, whenever you have a student for me, make sure they like kids.
Yeah. And
That's
I'm
my number one rule now.
super happy for you. Way to, show up as a host mom and advocate for your student in
Yeah.
the next phase of her process and of her journey to make sure that as she moves on that she's well taken care of. So thank you for that, Mary.
The other thing, too, I was thinking was not only does she have to have a new homestay here for the 4
Mhm.
months, she's going to Ottawa for 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know how many homestay families she's going to have in Ottawa, too, but at least one.
Yeah.
She'd have to go through this whole process again.
Right?
And I don't want her to be stuck in like
No.
a family like mine where there's
Yeah.
kids or
Yeah.
no pets or things that she's not interested in. So,
Educating her.
yeah,
So important.
exactly.
Yeah. So our coordinating process is so much we get so much information on our students before, like on the profiles.
What else? What do you get aside
Okay.
from the things that I?
Aside from what you get, I get, their name and country, their birth date. So even
Oh, yeah.
before they come, I know when their birth date is. And lots of times I've had lots of September birth dates. So even like right when they come, we're celebrating
Mhm.
birth dates.
I used to get all of that at the language school that I really
Mhm.
loved, but now not so much.
Okay. I get their parents' names and occupations,
Mm-hmm.
their siblings, ages.
Oh
as well.
wow!
Mm-hmm. Musical instruments that they play, and the number of years that they've been playing them. Their pets. I'll get their pets and hobbies and interests. So like if they play badminton or if they're interested in a sport. Their favorite courses in schools, the number of years that they've been studying English, because
that's good to know.
my students are more academic, right?
Mhm.
They're here for longer term placements, and why they want to participate in the high school program and the previous travel and study abroad experiences. Lots of times they have done shorter placements abroad.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of Jenny, we heard that she went.
Oh yeah,
She went to Los Angeles
Yeah.
for a month, or they'll have gone to New Zealand or Australia or somewhere like that.
That's usually the stuff I would ask my student once they arrive.
Yeah, I get
But
to know
you get
it too.
You get to know it
before-
beforehand.
before they come. And then they also ask them how they would describe their own personality. So I'll know if they're shy or outgoing.
Oh, see, that's what I would love to know.
Yes. And they also ask them what their preferences are for the family lifestyle. If they would like, a single parent family or grandparents in the home, if they want a piano in the home or stuff like that, and their food preferences as well, what kinds of dinner preferences they like. So this is all before they get to us, what type of, if there's any medical things to be aware of, what their program dates are when they're coming. That's what we get. And then from there, I make a decision.
So then how do you choose? You have so much information now.
I know, it's wonderful. So first of all, the coordinator that I work with is wonderful. She has all of this information for all of the students that she
Mhm.
gets. And so she doesn't inundate me with a ton. She'll pick, usually she just shoots me a student and she's already done the process and she's looked at our family and our interests within our family, we've got these 3, what I think are amazing children.
Oh, Mama Bear.
Oh, Mama. I am so Mama Bear, but I am Mama Bear for my students too.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you all kinds of Mama Bear incidents where I've shown up for
That
my
will be a
students.
future episode.
We should do a Mama Bear episode.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, and their friends too. I've done it for their
Oh, wow.
friends as well. I've gone all Mama Bear for them. But yeah, we can do Mama Bear Erin. I might have a reputation in the community.
Especially with that talent show.
Oh, that's cheerleader. Yeah, that might be embarrassing. But yeah, she'll shoot me a profile. And so my kids I've got the 2 little girls, and they love, singing and dancing. And one of mine is like a little artist. And then my son, he's like Lego and Star Wars and drumming and boyish things. We all love badminton and those types of interests and swimming. And that's what I've put to our coordinator within the profile. And never mind, what Blake and I like.
Yeah.
But
It's what the kids like.
But for the kids, with the children, is our number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
Then when she shoots me, and I think she's only ever shot me a student at a time, I look at it and she's already done the process. And it's always been a yes. I've never turned down her students because they've been amazing. But I look at, number 1, do they like kids? And they have. And number 2, do they have musical talents? Well, will they fit into
the family band?
Our fam jam? And they do. Our Jenny, who's a singer and a piano player, we can get the piano in the home for her, and we have. It's been amazing. So, Blake, my husband, does play bass guitar. And Carter, he's a drummer. And so she...
Get the whole family.
The family band. And so the piano playing. And yes. And so she was our first student placed in our home. And so then our second student placed, well, she loves badminton too. And so I looked at, will it fit with Jenny? And yes, it doesn't. In fact,
that's a good point.
Right? And they knew each other. So they were both already placed in the same high school. They were both placed. They were in different homestays. And it just so happened that because they were in different homestays, they could come visit. And they did. They came to visit our home and see our children. They visited and they liked us and we liked them. It was an interesting and unusual, I think, that they could come into the home, meet our kids, see the rooms, see the family before they went back to their home countries for the summer. And so we could all just make sure that we liked one another, that it felt good.
Yeah.
And that was a bit unusual. I don't think that we'll get that with every placement.
No. That actually only happened to me once.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with the school that I really love that it's now closed. She was already here with another homestay family. She had graduated from Vancouver, actually, for the high school program in Vancouver. So her English was top notch. But she wanted to be more independent. Since she was already in town, we met her. She toured the house and we were like, yeah, cool. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she moved in like a weekend or so after.
Yeah. So Jenny was placed first. And then our Thai student, so Jenny was in grade 11. Our Thai student was in grade 12. And when she came through our house, I just felt such an instant connection to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like just an instant connection, and like just loved her so much. And they hadn't even driven away from our cul-de-sac before I was emailing our coordinator. I'm like, yes, I want her.
She's the one.
She's the one. And she said it was just as instant for her that she wanted our house and our family as well. So
go with your intuition.
I do. I go with my gut. And then when our Japanese student got her profile, and it was so sweet, we got that same profile. And at the end, there was also a PDF, and she had hand drawn and handwritten, like, she's a beautiful artist. But it was like more about her, and it was just like cute drawings and stuff. Like, I love fishes, but I hate math, and like cute little, like, it was just more about her, and it was really sweet. But on her extra thing, it was stuff like how she loves Star Wars and other things that I was like, oh, she's really going to fit in well with my son. And then when she arrived, like, there was an instant connection where more people are drawn to the little girls. She was right there. They were watching Star Wars and building Lego and like Indiana Jones. And that was really neat because I hadn't seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
We've never had a bad I've never felt like I've made the wrong choice, or like our coordinator I feel like she pours over our profile because like
she wants to find the best match.
And she does. I feel like, yeah, she does a beautiful job. It always works. Yeah. There's always common interests with our children, but also our current student.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's number one. They like kids, and then it works with our children, but also our current student.
Yeah, that's pretty key for you since you host 2 and I only host 1. I never really have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in the process of getting another student because yours is leaving
our
soon.
Japanese student leaves at the end of January. So yeah, I was just talking to our coordinator yesterday, and she said we have to start thinking about that. And it's always hard, but yeah, we wish she would stay.
Yeah.
But
you got to say goodbye.
We got to say goodbye and
make some new connections.
And so I let her know. And she said we'll probably be placing it for just the one semester. And I said just to keep in mind, our family bonds deeply. So if there ever is
really deeply
another opportunity for a long-term placement, because we'll also be saying goodbye to Jenny, because at the end of the school year, she will be going on to university.
Oh.
So if there is another opportunity for someone like Jenny, because Jenny was with us for 2 years, for a long-term placement like that, again, we would love that. That would be our dream. But if not, then, we are, of course, going to continue to host.
Yep.
2-year placement would be amazing. We love returning students, because then you just don't even have to think about it.
I know, but then for me, I feel like it's the daunting aspect of 2 years is so long.
Are you kidding me? It's like my Harumi. I love, it's wonderful.
But I guess the thing is,
it's a family member.
I know, but if I'm going to stereotype the kind of students that we get, and because I get them from language schools and not an academic high school program, their English isn't as strong. So I just feel like that's 2 years of struggling of communication.
Come to the long-term side, Mary. Come to me.
But we like the short-term style because we get to immerse ourselves in a student, and then they leave, and then we just get to be ourselves. Not that we're not ourselves. I know, it's not that we're not, but I like alone time. Maybe that's it.
Okay, so then this is what you do. You just put a TV with Netflix in the room. Or you give them the password to your Netflix account. I mean, I don't know.
I don't have Netflix.
This is the problem. Get Netflix.
No.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. But ultimately, like long-term students, they are academic. They are trying really hard. They have to study. I don't know what to tell you.
There's a lot of good pros and cons. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
They're a family member. I don't know. We love it. So I'm not, okay. You do you and I do me. But I'm just telling you, they're lovely and we love them. And
I know they're lovely because I've interacted with them quite a few times.
I want them for 2 years. I won't judge you and you don't judge me. Okay.
No, we don't.
Okay.
The other aspect that we always think about is because in the past, whenever it's a long weekend or holidays, we always go to Vancouver.
Take them with you.
And we do.
Okay, yeah.
We do. However, now with Kira, we don't have a spot for a spare bedroom, right? Like we would whenever we go over, we would stay with John's parents. Mm-hmm. And they have a sewing room that they would convert into a bedroom. It's a pull-out couch. And our previous students had stayed in there. Mm-hmm. But now Kira takes that room. Mm. So then if we take a student over, we don't have a room for them.
I have a solution and you're not going to like it. I know you're already like,
I'm glaring at you.
I know, and I can't. My parents, for Christmas one year, jokingly gave my children doggy beds.
We gave your children what? You're laughing so much I can't hear you.
Doggy beds. Doggy beds.
So the kid who slept on the dog beds?
Doggy beds.
So you're suggesting to me to put my child in a dog bed so that the student can sleep in the sewing room.
I have 3 of them. You can take our 3 doggy beds. I will. Yeah, they're really quite comfortable.
Now, where do you put said doggy bed? In the room that you're in?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or with the student. I don't know. It's up to you.
Maybe if the student and her bonded really well.
I'm sorry, but I already know that you're going to hate me for suggesting that.
I don't hate you. That's actually not a bad idea.
Thank you. It's what we do when we travel.
She'll sleep anywhere.
I know.
Huh.
I have 3 of them. And the blankets to go with it.
I hadn't contemplated
Tell
that
her
option.
Auntie Erin sends it to her loving way.
Oh, and she'll do anything Auntie Erin says.
I know. Anyway, I've got a solution.
Okay. Food for thought. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm sorry, I couldn't get through it without... I'm actually crying. I was laughing so hard.
Do you tell the kids that they're actually dog beds?
They know they're dog beds.
Know,
It's because they would go over to my mom's house and they would take the dog beds and try to lay on the dog beds and they would get covered in their hair and the fur. And so they gave them dog beds for Christmas. And with 3 children, you can't just give one dog bed because they'll fight over it.
Yeah.
So they had to give them 3 dog beds.
Their own dog beds.
Their own dog beds. And they are all a different color. And you can get them from Home Depot. And apparently they make magical Christmas gifts. And they gave it jokingly, but they're amazing. They thought I would hate them for it. They thought that I would want them returned. And I was like, no, they're amazing. We bring them out for movie nights. They go.
Oh, that would be cozy.
It is cozy. And they go on the floor. We tuck them under my youngest daughter's bunk bed. They're very clean. They're not covered.
It's not like they were used dog beds.
They've never been used by dogs.
Yeah,
just
they're brand new that you buy specifically for the kids.
Yeah, for the kids. And so, and if there's sleepovers or a young child needs to, we pull them out. And or if a child is needing to sleep in our room because they're unwell, we'll pull out the dog beds and we cover them always with the blankets, right? And so that they don't sleep in our bed. Oh yeah, Mary. Revolutionary dog beds.
Huh.
Yeah, okay.
Someone who doesn't have a pet.
We don't have pets, but we have 3 dog beds. And when we went on our trip to Manitoba, you bet we brought the dog beds. Just so that we're sleeping in other people's homes. What if they don't have a spot for our children? We brought the dog beds and we used them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dog beds.
Yeah, because we used, when she was younger, right? You just bring the little pack and play,
something or other, playpen.
The playpen.
Yeah, there you go.
That you gave us.
That's right. Now I'm giving you the
she's-
solution of dog beds.
Okay.
There you go. Uh-huh.
I'll have to run that one by John. John, what do you think?
Shall we put Kira in a dog bed? Yeah.
I like the solution.
Thank you.
So if we have a long-term student, they can go in the spare sewing room when we go to Vancouver, and Kira will just have the doggy bed either with the student or in our room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go.
I can see it happening.
Yeah. And I'll even throw in, I'll ask my son, he does have a dog blanket with a hood with ears.
Because you gave us the dog towel and the dog robe.
Yeah.
Which she loves.
Yeah. Well, this would be alone. He will want that blanket back.
Yes.
It'll be alone with the dog beds. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay. Yep. Food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we'll have more fun.
Till then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Homestay Kitchen, hosted by Mary Chan and Erin Eastman. Produced by me, Mary Chan of Organized Sound Productions. Web and show notes by Erin Eastman. Like what you're hearing? Write us a review wherever you listen. Or drop us an email at homestaykitchen@gmail.com. We would really appreciate it. For more information on this episode, visit homestaykitchen.com. And when you're ready to dish up your stories, connect with us on Instagram @homestaykitchen or on Facebook. Thanks for joining us.